Hello and welcome back to Yorkshire Railway and welcome back to another how-to series. Today we're going to be sorting out my Dapol HIA wagons, which primarily really are used on railways for hauling limestone, or from my research anyway, certainly heavy aggregates and things like that. So my plan today is to replicate some limestone hoppers and hopefully have a nice rake of those fully loaded. Obviously, as you could probably see at the moment, they're completely empty. There is quite a large deep chamber in there, so I don't want to be filling all that up with heavy rocks basically, and creating a wagon that is so heavy the locomotives can't haul them round and about. So we're going to be bringing back the trusty foam from the last episode. I've got my trusty scoop, pair of scissors, Stanley blade if needed, a premix of PVA and water in a 50-50 mix, and then you might be asking what we're going to be using as limestone. And what we're actually going to be using is this, which is coral. Well, it calls coral sand, but it's more of a coral gravel. But as you can quite see, it's quite fine, but at the same time quite large chunks, which I think looks like the perfect model replica for some large limestone boulders as such, large rocks basically to be milled into whatever they're doing. But yes, this is a 2 kilogram bag from a aquatics retailer, Main Aquatics here in the UK, and this cost £4.99. So I think 2 kilos, that's not bad at all. But what I'll do is I'll snip that open, and that way I'll have a bit easier access come to it. But yeah, you can see it there. It's quite nice. Very dusty, so yeah, not the best for picking up your hands, but lo and behold, I think it will make great limestone looking, basically, because I know you can get resin molds, especially for the Dapol HIAs, but the one thing that I don't really like about them, one is they're quite expensive. I think that's the main thing, that they're I say quite expensive. I mean, they're £2.99 for what I've seen on the internet, which sounds a lot, but when I paid £4.99 for a bag of coral sand, and I've got some foam lying around, I mean, actually what I might do is just take these off cuts. We'll see how that stacks up. But yeah, I think for £4.99 for a bag and a bit of PVA glue, especially when I've got how many wagons is it? 6? Yeah, 6 wagons to make. It's going to cost a lot. So yeah, plus also it's the benefits I can make them myself and enjoy the process. But yeah, we're looking all right so far. Just going to pack out a few bits. As I say, the best thing about this foam is it's just there to pack out bits. I've seen people say another good one to use would be toilet roll. Basically take sheets of toilet roll, soak them in some water, and that will create them to pack out. There we go. I don't think that's too bad to start with. Let's just force that bit down a bit. So we basically don't want anything to come up on the top layer. That to me that looks alright. So as you can see, we're about a centimetre below. And that will give me a nice layer to just get up to the top of there. I'm going to sort of leave this brown bar exposed a little bit. There we go. So what I'll do is grab a scoop, gently just scoot it around. Just going to fill in a few bits. As you can see, not really using a lot. There we go. I think that will do, just fill in those little gaps. But yeah, I think that's looking all right, that. You know, and the best thing is about doing this way, they're not all going to be bang even, so that gives it, as well, it's more realistic should they not be even. One tool I did forget to say, we're going to need a pipette just to suck up some of this glue solution. And then what we'll do is we'll just dribble that over. And that will soak away. As it does, the water will evaporate and the glue will stick everything together. I think I might have made this a little bit on the thicker side, probably does need a little bit more water, but it is soaking away. Might just take a little bit longer to dry out. There we go. Just taking it easy. The best thing with these wagons is not to rush, especially when you're going into the glue process. Don't rush. Take time. Let that glue just seep in. Get in every nook and cranny. Making sure to cover every surface. Once we get to the point where it starts sort of pooling, you know, really you've probably put enough on there. Because it's taking a while to seep away then. So what I'll do is I'll just turn it over. Just making sure to be gentle so I'm not rattling any of that stone away. There we go, getting every nook and cranny. Best thing about PVA as well is it does dry clear, so if you do get any on the sides of the models, it will wipe off once dry. There we go. I think that one has had enough. Maybe a little bit, just a little bit more in this corner actually. I'm just looking at that. That doesn't look terribly like it's got a lot down there. Yeah, I think that has had enough. So then what we can do is we can put that to one side, let that dry. We're gauging the weight in comparison to an empty one. Again, this is the best thing we're using the foam. It is a lot heavier, but in terms of actual weight, I'd probably say it's maybe gained about another, I don't know, 50 grams or something like that. Probably not even that. It's barely anything really. It's because they're quite heavy wagons as they are. But yeah, I'd say it's not going to be hard for a locomotive to pull it at all. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll pop this to one side, and I will get on with finishing the others. Okay, so there we go. I've completed all 6 wagons. You probably saw in the time lapse that I moved them from out of shot back into shot, and for some strange reason I also put a bit too much glue in the first one, and it started dripping out of the bottom. As you can see, it's only happening with that one, so I'm lost for words really. I've put roughly about the same amount of glue in each one, but clearly I've obviously put too much in that one, so it'll not affect the running of it, but yeah, for the time being I thought best to drip onto the mat, and then I can clean it up at a later date. But yeah, I'm thinking they're looking great so far. Obviously you can probably see from the colour of the coral gravel, it's gone from this pure white colour to a sort of mix of whites and yellows, and I kind of like that. I think that looks a little bit more realistic to limestone. You know, it definitely certainly looks a lot more weathered, and that it's might have been sat out a while. Not necessarily that it's just, you know, pure white, so it gives that bit of interest to them. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts down below. What do you think of them so far? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these to dry, and we'll come back and give them a running session around the layout. But yeah, that will be coming up now. Okay, so we're a couple of days later and the glue has dried, and yeah, I hope you agree with me that I think these look pretty fantastic. I was a little bit apprehensive with how dark the coral gravel went. I did think that, oh, I've made a bit of a mistake here. I think it might be a little bit too dark to pass off as limestone, but as it's dried, it's still got that sort of weathered look to it, but I think it looks a lot more realistic now. Now anyway, I'll put some disclaimers as to things that have happened. If you're planning on doing this with your own wagon, stuff that I would probably change is I would probably put like a bit of cling film or something in the bottom of the hopper, because what I didn't realise was that this plate here, each one of those is like a sort of scoop, and that component is screwed into the base. Now the one thing about screws is they make holes, so when you're putting watery glue in, it leaks if you put a bit too much in, hence the big puddles. I peeled a couple off, but you can see the remnants of them there, but that was the biggest one. which was the first wagon that I did. So yeah, disclaimer, if you're going to copy this video, put some cling film in the bottom before you put anything else in, because yeah, glue just leaked everywhere, and it's got on some of the wheels and in some of the bogies. I've managed to undo it. You know, PVA glue, once dry, it just peels off. If you've ever done that with your hand in school, you will know, you know, it's no harm whatsoever. It's easy to peel off, doesn't create any damage. It's just a bit of a faff. So yeah, that's basically the only thing. Just put a bit of cling film in the bottom of the hopper, place everything else on, and then you can pop everything else on top. And you shouldn't, hopefully, have the same issue that I have come. So yeah, now I've got the Freightliner Class 66 hooked up, and I think we'll give them a run round just to make sure they work perfectly. Certainly are a little bit more weighty than usual, but I don't think it's anything that the Class 66 will particularly struggle with. You know, in terms of weight, they're not adding that much weight extra onto the wagons. They were quite heavy wagons, but I'm hoping the one thing that the Freightliner, the Class 66 from Hatton's tends to do, I don't know if anybody else has this issue, certain wagons, and it's mainly Dapol ones, it tends to rip off the track. Even though they're very heavy, I don't know why, it just happens every now and again. You get one just derail because the Freightliner's decided that its NEM pocket's not going to move, or it's a bit sticky, or I'm not really sure, but it just rips it straight off the track, and then the first wagon always derails. Just how it is. But yeah, let's give the Freightliner some juice, and we'll see how it performs. Okay, so we're currently at about 40% speed. As you can see, not struggling whatsoever. But I do think those loads do look really, really great. I'm really happy with how they turned out. You know, certainly going to look great when there's a bit of scenery on the layout. We've got this very large limestone hopper rake going through. But yeah, I think that's a success. They're absolutely running fine, no derailments, and definitely not become too heavy that the locomotive can't haul them. So yeah, I'd call this a great success. But anyway, if you have enjoyed this video and are enjoying the series of these little how-tos, don't forget to hit the like button and drop a comment down below what kind of wagon loads you'd like to see next in the series. I've got lots of different open wagons available, so yeah, I'm going to plan that out and get some more different loads made up for all my wagons. But yeah, drop that in the comments down below what you'd like to see next, and I will certainly get around to doing some more, because I'm quite enjoying doing them. As well as, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, what you'll probably find is we've got the 00 gauge model railway build. Obviously, we've got these little how-to series in terms of doing different things to involve enhancing the layouts, as well as model reviews and unboxings. So yeah, if you think that's your kind of cup of tea, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so, massively helps me out in terms of helping my channel grow, and obviously you'll be able to get notified when I upload new videos. But that is all from me today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. I will catch you later.